So I'm Scott Dennison. I'm with Top Rank Roofer, founder and CEO, and I am sitting here this afternoon talking with Calum McKay. He is a gentleman that owns Perfect Pitch Roofing and Exteriors in London, Ontario.
Correct.
My first Canadian customer after all these years. And it actually started with a very simple question. I got a phone call one day, and a gentleman asked me if I was working with customers in Canada. And I said, as a matter of fact, I can. And that started this process. And Calum, why don't you pick it up from there? How would you tell people that are listening how you originally found me and what made you decide you were interested in talking to me?
Well, as a roofer, I'm always learning and growing, trying to develop my craft and get better. I listen into podcasts, and the Roofer Show was the one that I was listening to. And you guys are having a great conversation about what you can do for roofers, and in how getting us visible to the customers. And I was intrigued by it. I really was, and so I called you up, and that really started the process that has changed things for me quite well up here in Canada. So I'm excited.
Okay, so now you like just about everybody else I've ever worked with. In fact, I can't think of a client that I've had in 6 years that in the roofing industry that hadn't hired somebody that claimed to do what I do before me.
Right.
You'd been down that road. You'd talked to some people about how Google works and how to become visible, how to get people to see your website and interact with it. And yet, when I found you, you were not visible, and you were
right. Actually, it was an utter mess. Right. I was told that with this simple process, I was going to be on page one, and just a lot of smoke and mirrors, really. And at the end of the day, I think I was linked up to some sales of products overseas or something. Like, I don't know what the heck. I never got anything from my website at all. So yeah, it was very frustrating when I found when you showed me all of the mismanagement and the smoke and mirrors coming to light. Really got me frustrated, but you made it all better for sure.
Well, you and I are on the same page there, Calum, because I will tell you my primary reason for working in this industry, for continuing to work with roofers. The industry's a little chaotic sometimes. It's because I just don't like finding guys that are stuck.
Mm-hmm.
I come from a family of contractors. My father was an underground utilities guy, and I worked in the field when I was young. And I've been around blue-collar, hardworking guys my whole life. I always liked the way they conducted themselves, and that they get up and they just go. And yet, great craftsmen, roofers included in that, don't always know what I know about my business.
Mm-hmm.
And pretty quickly they find that there are some slick types out there that will say things that aren't true. They will do things that they don't admit to, and they will not admit that they generally don't know what to do. The process that Google uses has changed again and again since the last 5 or 6 years. And it's a completely different business than it was when I started. So let's talk about what's happened now. I mean, I think we talked about it would take around a month for your website to be ready. Did we deliver on time, and did it meet your expectations?
Absolutely. And to elaborate on some of the stuff that you were saying there, I can only come to one conclusion is, either the guy who was setting up my website originally knew what he was doing, which is terrible, or he didn't know what he was doing. And that's where I'm leaning. But that's also terrible. So, there's no win-win there. And, I had a conversation with you, and quite quickly we were able to determine what was going on and why I wasn't being seen. And yeah, in a very short time, I would say a month, and I'm all of a sudden getting hits on my website. Leads are coming through. People are calling me up saying I have good reviews on Google. They want me to come out. It's nice because it helps me with my message, and there are a lot of roofers out there that want to do good work and want to really be a part of helping customers to get the best for their dollar. But sometimes, you have those other roofers out there that don't really care, and it's hard to be seen. It's hard to have people see you and to be able to determine what kind of contractor you are.
Right.
So you've helped me with that, and yeah, in a month, it's really starting to hit, and I'm able to give my message out to people a little bit more often now, and that's helping me big time. So I'm excited.
Well, I'm really pleased for you, and that it did go so smoothly. It's not been all that long that Google has been, I guess the word that they would use is index, where they would gather all the information in your website.
Mm-hmm.
They would run their spiders across it and gather everything that was there. They didn't used to do it, but about once a month. And long before that, it was even, twice a year. If you got them to crawl your site, it was really something. But about a year or so ago, they started doing it in real time. And as we're changing stuff, they're sending their spiders down to see what changed.
Yeah.
And as I started to eliminate those pages that were linked out to these places around the world, they noticed that. When we replaced all the old content with new content, and we ran a little process that we call uniqueness.
Mm-hmm.
You might remember we did a phone call, and I spoke to you, and we recorded that.
Yeah,
and then
right.
my writers used your words to write your content with.
Mm-hmm.
And I would imagine when you read through the content, you're like, this is pretty good. It's like I wrote it myself.
Exactly.
In essence, you did, but with a little help.
Yeah.
And those are just some of the things that we try to do. And I guess it's all about, in my case, it's the same thing as yours, is getting my message out there.
Mm-hmm.
Because there are so many scammers who claim to do, I mean, I don't even call myself an SEO. I know SEO inside and out. I could do it standing on my head, but I don't call myself an SEO.
Right.
We build an awful lot of websites, but we're not web designers.
Mm.
We're partners with the roofing industry, I guess, and really not even the industry, but because I found the industry itself is sort of shrugging its shoulders about the crime and the bad guys.
Right.
The associations do nothing to stop it.
Right.
You would think they would be the ones screaming loudly about all that, but they don't.
No.
And so it's left for me to go wandering through the woods and find the guys that say, I do roofing for a living, and I'm an honest guy, and I have a business I'm proud of, and I want to build it.
That's it. And really, for me, it's it's unfortunate that all those things are true, right? But I mean, if you're starting a network to get those honest guys, and I'm just honored to be a part of it, because it's a nightmare seeing what some of these guys are doing, and the lies that they're telling people, right? It's very frustrating. to be able to have my website say everything I want it to say, and you know, and and be able to get a message out there before they even call me. You know, that's
Right.
great. That's really great. I mean, because, you know, when they do call me up, they're like, tell me more, right? And that's where I get set apart from everyone else, because
Yes.
now they are more knowledgeable than 90% of the customers out there, you know, just because they read my web page, you know. It's big.
And I think you might remember, we actually built it with that in mind. I mean, the whole idea is Google has told us that these customers are on a journey, and they're going to reward the companies online who are doing business online that want to take that customer by the hand and guide them through the process.
That's right.
And make them feel safe. And Google has themselves wired into everything in your website. They can see everything that we're doing. And right now they like it, and they're rewarding you for it. And you're, you know, it's only been a few weeks and you're already starting to show up in search results.
Yeah.
You're getting calls and you're getting leads, and I think the future is bright, and I'm real excited
so
about
as well. But as bright as my
head. Well, Calum, I've enjoyed the conversation, and certainly have enjoyed the work working with you. One last question I wanted to ask you. I tried something new, you know, because I've been doing this a few years, and I've tried lots of different ways of doing things. One of the things that I told you I was going to do was take everything from this ongoing recurring contract basis that I've done for years, and switch it all to a list that was on a Trello board.
Yeah.
That was just an A through Z checklist of everything we were going to do.
Mm-hmm.
Did you find that to be helpful to you to
Actually,
monitor?
I'm glad you're talking about that, because that really for me is opened up a huge door, in that, you know, I knew from day one what to expect, and ever since that day, and watching the items being checked off as you went live through it, I'm able to critique and develop my own company and be able to say, hey, you know what? I need this. I need that. I have ideas moving forward, and I know that you're going to be able to help me with those. And it's basically, it's given me the ability to be able to really be a part of what you're doing and know how much work you've invested, but also, you know, what I can expect moving forward. So now I'll be able to critique my site more and more as we go, on my time when I'm ready to do it. And it's that's a great plus for sure.
Excellent. Okay, and that just led me to think of one last question, and then we do have to cut this off, because I could talk to hardworking guys. I like talking to guys like you.
Yeah, perfect.
When you look back at the investment that you made, do you think the value was good? Was it a very good value? Was it an average value? I mean, you felt like you got what you paid for, and you got good value for your money.
Scott, I think that you have catapulted me at least 2 years ahead in a period of a month. You know,
wow.
I look at other companies in my area and the amount of time that it takes them to be seen naturally. Mm-hmm. We've been able to jump over those guys, and you know, that's a special thing. For me, it was very valuable. Probably one of the best things I spent money on so far with my company.
Okay, good. I guess that would answer the question, that if the opportunity was there to do it again, you'd probably say yes.
100%.
Great. Well, Calum, I've enjoyed the conversation. I know other roofing companies are going to like to hear what you've had to say. It's always so helpful to a man who, you know, gets up and does what you do for a living. Mm-hmm. To hear not from me, the sales guy or the guy who does this stuff, but to hear it from you.
Yeah, for
and
sure.
I'm grateful for that. So